Hey everybody, this is Chad Warren and welcome to Rebel Renaissance Radio. It is 8:47 a.m. 2/15/2025. Hope you're doing coolio. So, what you see here is a picture of the iHeartRadio web page, and that is just to represent that I do love radio and kind of been getting back into it over the past year. It started with me door dashing and listening to the radio more, and I like the way it made me feel more a part of my town to hear stuff and the DJs and what's going on, and just this more upbeat, the vibe, than all this occult conspiracy, dark truth stuff that I've enjoyed forever online. And so I did a little post on the Twitter trying to see if anybody else has this interest that I have, which is that I think that alt media online needs to be thinking that since all this content is the norm, it's more popular culture, what used to be outlaw, conspiracy, weirdo culture. And I think that has a lot to do with Trump. And it's similar to the beginning of the American Revolution, where there's all this revolutionary fervor that I think was stimulated as much by the powers that be as the people. Because we should know by now that rebel groups, any kind of rebel group is controlled, whether it's Christians or pagans or political, free speech advocates today or whatever. And so there's this changing dynamic to reduce the people that go to the Freemason Lodge. They're having to sell their lodges. And then there's all these churches around us, and the number of that's dwindling, even though there's a lot of growth and all of that because of Trump and all of that, a swing to the right. But so this is just Politics 101, and it's I'm always thinking, like, what are we doing as a community? I want us to be a counter kind of to community radio, like I'd listen to KABF is out of Little Rock, and then what's the one, KUHS, I believe, is the Hot Spring Station, and they have great music, and I do like certainly the some of the ways, when they have the studio and the conversations and bands come in, we should be doing all of that stuff. Why that's wrong and annoying that there's this, like, oh, that's for these far left people, and then here's this, like, super conservative talk radio I don't really care about. We need to be better represented, and I'm looking for people to recognize, we're going to have to work as a community and a cooperative, and we can learn from these Christians and the business aspects of radio and the past of America. We're trying, I think a lot of this I'm talking to just a broad recognition in humanity that we're losing too much of what we have. So, like, a true conservatism of, like, they're trying to turn us into robots that are poisoning us, this kind of stuff. So you take something as mundane as the popularity of retro pop culture and the dominance of that on YouTube, all these people with the video games and the Ataris and the collectible media, the DVDs and the albums and the blah, blah, blah. And I just, obviously there's a real strong longing to hold on and not lose what we have as humanity as this great change occurs. And we'd be fools not to take advantage of this. And just, we're going to read a bit about this radio station. I'll give you a sample here. So this is just, I don't really listen to Christian radio stations, but I like the whole concept of the radios, that you got a scan of different things, even though that was the problem, is that it didn't really include a lot of free talk in my experience.
Your gift, or learn how to become a monthly partner, visit livingontheedge.org or call 888-333-6003. Again, that's 888-333-6003, or go to livingontheedge.org. App listeners, tap donate. We'll chip today.
I know all about living on the edge. And a lot of things. All right, so let's learn some more about the Bott Radio network. Oh, we have Pluto here. I'm going to talk about TV as well. Okay. Here. All right. So, let's do this. Okay, first of all, how did all this start? So I got this little. I'll take the little antenna off me. I got this radio. It's very cool. It's like $16 at Walmart. I got a couple of them. One for my son and I. Delivered. And then you get this 25-foot retractable antenna you can put up for FM shortwave. It's really fun. So the thing is then, me, I barely remember all this radio, let alone these people younger than me. So, just like, what station am I on? If you listen long enough, they'll give the call sign, right? But I look over here and I see it's like below 89, and then I pull up, this is radio-locator.com. And so I see, okay, this is 88.7. Says it's 7 miles distance. I assume that's from the downtown of Hot Springs. That's a religious format. That's 88.7 KAYH. And then I go over here with my Gomer Pyle self. And I find the Bott Radio Network. And okay, so listen to this history and see if it doesn't excite you about how we need to recognize that we're in a similar situation that we need to take advantage of. And I think it would be... This is close to my heart too, because that's the thing I learned about studying all this occult esoteric stuff, is that we need to better integrate like traditional Christianity with all this far out stuff. It's way more connected than not. And then that's just true of everything. Deep state, learning about how the government really works, versus more mundane things like voting for candidates and stuff. Okay, so this is about Dick Bott, a man of vision. Bott Radio Network has more than 120 stations throughout the U.S. Dick Bott, chairman and founder, with his son Rich Bott II, president and CEO of the Bott Radio Network, BRN, have more than 120 stations reaching into 16 states with a combined coverage of over 60 million people across the United States. I know Alex Jones, he was always connected to this Genesis Radio Network, which is kind of Christian, patriot. And I know George Soros bought a whole bunch of radio stations. So, and then when we get to the Pluto, I got to remember to mention about how that's similar to when cable was new in my experience, and how ESPN had local advertisements. All right, so 120 stations in 16 states, covering 60 million people across the U.S. So those are some numbers to get an idea. The goal of the network is to provide quality Bible teaching with Christian news and information. There's Christian radio stations everywhere. AM, FM, shortwave, all over the YouTube. We could learn from those people. The goal of the network is to provide quality Bible teaching with Christian news and information. Multitudes listen to Bott Radio Network, learning the deep truths of God's Word through the greatest Bible teachers of today. What would our creed be? Dick Bott has been behind a microphone since he was a boy, singing for child evangelism in churches throughout Minneapolis, Minnesota. His career in sales began at the age of 9 when he sold apples out of a wagon to the neighbors. I mean, all of this stuff is just like, it's amazing how much of a different world that we have. There's a similar guy here that started selling produce out of bags, hanging around some distributor, and then he took over that company, and then he had a trucking company, and now he has like this farmer's market and all this. Local old timer there in North Little Rock, McAlmont neighborhood. World War II pulled America out of a major depression. My dad struggled until the war broke out when he was able to get a job that paid $100 a week at a defense plant. He made $400 a month. That's crazy. Said Bott, I never thought to ask my dad for money, although he would have given it to me had I asked. When I needed money, I figured out a way to earn it. Values. As a boy, Bott ordered items out of the Spore catalog at discount rates. Was it magic mushrooms? And sold them door to door. Man, that's cool. I need to get my seeds going here. Make money off of that. He later worked as a bellhop at the Curtis Hotel in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I hid my tips in a little box in the basement of the hotel so I wouldn't spend them. Then when I wanted to take Shirley out, I had the money. Yeah, I'm divorced. I've got a 15-year-old son, and I'm like, hey, what job do you want, you know? And I was like, we went to the Park Plaza Mall, and there's this cool new store. I don't know the name, but they have all this, physical media, DVDs, records, everything. It was very cool. And I got him a $20 30th anniversary Aliens Blu-ray DVD, and I was like, dude, why don't you get a job here, man? So anyway, after becoming very successful at selling advertising for his father-in-law's radio station, Bott had a vision of having his own station. That is what I want to do. I'm getting back into reselling stuff on eBay and Amazon and stuff, and I want to rent a place in one of these flea markets and sell all this stuff out of there and store it there and do podcasts out of there and then get my son into all that stuff too so he can understand business and trading. To save money to buy a station, they sold their home with all their furniture and moved back in with Shirley's parents. Yikes. Where they had their third child. A whole different world of trust, a family and God and 3 kids and people not even having kids now. With the sale of the home, they had $10,000 to buy a station. Today it would be, did OnlyFans. Shirley's friends at church wondered how she could give up her nice home and furniture. We didn't feel we were making a big sacrifice. When the vision is big, the sacrifice seems small, Shirley reminisced. A station in Salinas, Monterey, California was being sold by 2 men who lived in Oregon. They had bought the station 5 years previously to make a profit, but the manager they hired did not act responsibly in running the station, and the DJs partied all the time. They were losing money and had to sell for the price they paid for it. Bott bought the station for $250,000. He paid $5,000 down and took on 3 mortgages. The first thing he did was fire the DJs and hire an announcer who played big band music and gave the weather and a little news. We could hire a DJ. I already had the contacts, so selling advertising was not difficult. We never missed a payment, and we were able to pay off the station in 3.5 years, Dick said. After the station was paid off, Bott began to think there had to be a greater purpose for his life. Here we go. So this guy's way more conservative than Normie than us maybe, but here's our vision. I hope that y'all share this with me. I want to do this. So he wanted to make a difference. The radio station we were running was profitable, but it wasn't satisfying. It wasn't making a difference in the lives of the people. I told Shirley that I wanted to have a Christian radio station. Christians buy furniture and buy groceries just as everyone else does. Hello, McFly. Why not have a radio station to serve the Christian community? In the 50s and early 60s, there were only a few Christian stations. Why bitch about Jew-run media? Be a part of it. You know what I mean? This struck me. In the 50s and early 60s, there were only a few Christian radio stations, and they were all run by Christian organizations or churches. There were no fully commercial stations offering only Christian programming. Whatever we do, Bott told his wife Shirley, the programs on our station must be totally trustworthy with financial integrity. So, isn't it interesting that it took all that amount of time just to start the private development of Christian media radio? I would have thought that would have been there. Well, it was there. It's just the churches, which understands. That's all interesting. That just like we're getting into crypto today, and then look at what it was like when it was new for people to be able to buy stocks themselves. Things were going so well in Salinas, Monterey, they didn't want to jump into selling the station to start another endeavor. A lawyer contacted Bott saying he had a client that wanted to buy a station. Without putting it up for sale, it sold for $350K, which is $100K more than they paid for it 3 years previously. So they must have made a good impression and either increased the value of the station, I assume so, by the advertisers, and you'd be handing that off, so you're handing off all that money. And then it could be that just the value of radio stations increased themselves. After selling the station, the Bott family took a year off. That's interesting, right? Like, we may never have a time like this again, Bott told Shirley. A time to enjoy life in our family. Man, that just seems... How often did people like that do that back then that were these conservative types? That's interesting. That year, the Bott family found a house in, pardon me, is this Daly City? Probably Daly City, California, and bought a 35-foot cabin cruiser. Yes. For a solid year, they enjoyed each other and their children. After a year, it was hard to go back to work, but I had promised God I would start that Christian radio station, Dick related. Bott looked for a market that had at least 1 million people. Doing the math, Bott knew that if there were only 100,000 people and 5% listened to a station, the audience would only be 5,000 listeners. Are you listening? Because my understanding is that in the world of trying to be one of these YouTubers, you should be thinking, I want 1,000 people that know, like, and trust me. I mean, that's what I know from the business world, same thing. So you can make a living off of, if you're providing a service and they're paying $5 a month for your content and what more, then that's how you do that. And so this makes sense. This is 5 times bigger. But look at this. So even in this mainstream broadcast medium, this is the way that these two different systems, the online new media and old media, are different, similar. 100,000 people, but this is like sales numbers. Only 5% are even going to hear it out of 100,000 or whatever. So that's 5 times more, 5,000 listeners. And the difference is that they need 1 million people to make it worthwhile with at least 50,000 listeners. So we would be I think there's a whole thing of micro broadcasting. I had this friend, William Benton, went to Full Sail School for the Recording Arts in Winter Park, Florida in 96, and he was from Oklahoma. He's a musician. He went on to move to New York and works at one of these pirate radio stations, or did, that broadcasts in a short area away. So that'd be something we'd look at, reduction in the cost for everything, scale. I'll leave it at that. But that's an inspiring story about the development of the Bott radio network and Christian radio and the similarities that we might face if we were to do such a thing. And then we'll come over here and look at TV. And this is Pluto TV. Let me pull up another thing here. Go to my history. I can get it to pull up. So we need to be thinking about packaging a variety of programming onto one radio and TV channel, possibly, because there is a wall for these people that are successful as content creator, YouTuber types in that I see, that even if they're successful, they get there's all this censorship, and you're not allowed to grow organically on the same level. It's all about, even Elon talks about, I think, doesn't he, you have the right to free speech, but not the right to free reach. So we're going to have to, that's the impetus of why we need to be doing all this, or it's not going to happen. But this is an amazing song. I will put the link to this video in here. I was blown away by this song. I mean, it was so poppy. At first, I thought it was stupid, and then as it kept going, I'm like, this is good pop music. This Pez song, it's very childlike. I mean, and then, Dave Sundstrom's super nice guy. So, yeah, we need, that's why I watch this stuff, consume all this dark content about serial killers and what's going on in politics, what's going on in the news. We need this counter to that. We all need to be more well-rounded. So, yeah, I would like to see. Oh, in terms of the problem with all this long-form content, that's why all these shorts are popular, right? So, and then I think even with shows that we like, the like alt media in general could use more discipline, just kind of like, here we're running a station and we got times a day, like we need to incorporate that from the old world of the TV schedule, as you see here, right? Okay, so this topic here, why am I showing the Love Boat and why am I showing David Sundstrom over here, this pop culture guy? Because we have something in common with these people. When you turn on YouTube and it's full of people playing old Atari, Nintendo games and video arcades and all the DVDs and horror movies, there's this just deep love for the way things were in TVs and movies and pop culture of the past. It was all a lot more positive before all Batman, Superman, the 9/11, all this stuff. And so we do need to restore our connection to normal people. That can we just hashtag be nice and upbeat, not be all super weirdo. I mean, as much as I'm all about being embracing our weirdness, I think we help there be a new protocol for what is acceptable in public, which does not include the jackass Americans that go to Japan and deface historical or religious monuments there. Screw those people. I'd be putting in cages and people throw popcorn at them. So, okay, yeah, I was going to say that on watching Pluto reminds me of when cable was new, and you'd watch ESPN, and there would be local commercials, and it was funny, but it was cool. So we need those kind of. Why wouldn't you want that? You have all of these people locally that like your show and content like your show. Why are you not interacting with these people? I think a radio station could act as a hub and having this multi-use facility, and that as much as I like community radio, we got KUHS here in Hot Springs and KABF on Little Rock. It's far left, so we need representation as just this true minority of all these different people. And that's pretty much my pitch there, just to say, I know, it may be even cheaper. I've seen that we can get a channel on these smart TVs, and we could put the best of our content on there of a variety. So I'm just looking for people that are interested in that, and your reaction to all this, and how it would be nice to integrate. Wouldn't it be cool if we had a TV guide? Because I mean, I miss these people. When are they streaming or whatever? We need the cohesion of having this world that we're all in, like it was. We can be the weirdos in the lunchroom and sit over here at this table, but I don't want to be separate from all other people. Thank you very much.